Every man has a breaking point. The moment he finally decides that peace is worth more than proximity. That love without respect isn't love, it's debt. You don't have to keep proving your worth to someone who keeps testing it. And you don't have to forgive what destroys you just to feel loved, because real strength isn't endurance, it's boundaries. In this video, we're going to expose the 10 things you should never forgive a woman for in a relationship. And more importantly, how walking away from them might be the first time you ever chose yourself. There's a hidden rule no one tells you about relationships. The one who fears loss the most always has the least power. That's why manipulators thrive on your forgiveness. It gives them proof that you won't leave. But here's the twist. The real leverage isn't in love, it's in boundaries. Once you understand that, everything changes. If you've ever wanted to understand how emotional power really works, like this video and subscribe now. Comment yes if you've ever stayed silent just to keep the peace, or no if you've already learned to walk away. Because the first thing I'm about to uncover isn't about her lies, it's about how easily men let them slide. Number 1. Chronic lies and alternate realities. It never starts with a big lie. It begins with something small, tiny enough that you brush it off. She says she was home when she wasn't. Says a message was from a friend when it wasn't. The price of the dress. The story about where she went. Details so minor you'd feel ridiculous calling them out. That's exactly the point. The first lie is a test. Not of your intelligence, but of your boundaries. A woman who lies habitually isn't trying to hide mistakes. She's crafting a world where she decides what's real. Every deception that goes unchecked becomes proof that you'll choose peace over truth. And once she learns that lesson, the lies evolve. They move from white lies to full-blown fabrications, secret accounts, double lives, rewritten timelines that make you question your memory. You stop confronting her because it's easier to doubt yourself than to accept what she's done. That's how manipulation begins, by exhausting your sense of reality until you surrender it entirely. The goal isn't simply to deceive you, it's to make you depend on her version of events. You'll start defending her lies to other people. You'll start lying to yourself, telling yourself she means well. That's how she wins. Because once she decides that lying to you is acceptable, she's decided that your truth doesn't matter. And when your truth no longer matters, you're not in a relationship. You're in her illusion. Number 2. Public humiliation disguised as humor. It sounds harmless at first, a story told at dinner. A teasing remark in front of friends. A little laugh at your expense. She says, "Relax, it's just a joke." Everyone laughs, except you. You smile to keep the peace, but deep down, something twists. Because you know what really happened. She wasn't trying to be funny. She was trying to remind everyone who's in control. When a woman repeatedly mocks you in public, your habits, your mistakes, your ambitions, she's not building connection. She's broadcasting hierarchy. Each laugh she earns from others is another brick in the wall of dominance she's constructing over you. And when you confront her about it, she flips the script. You're too sensitive, or you can't take a joke. Now you're not only the punchline, you're the problem. Psychologically, this is contempt disguised as intimacy. Contempt doesn't scream. It smirks. It kills slowly, stripping your dignity one funny story at a time. Once she learns she can mock you without consequence, respect begins to die. And when respect dies, love follows. A woman who loves you protects your image in public. She guards your reputation because she values what you represent together. A woman who ridicules you seeks power, not partnership. So the next time she turns you into the joke to make herself look superior, don't laugh with her. Understand what's really happening. She's not sharing humor. She's sharing contempt. And once a woman laughs at you in public, the relationship is already dying in private. Number 3, emotional manipulation and guilt traps. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't threaten. She simply makes you feel like a bad man for having boundaries. If you really loved me, you don't care about me anymore. I guess I'm just not enough for you. Every word is designed to twist your compassion into compliance. You're not arguing with logic. You're negotiating with guilt. Emotional manipulation is one of the most sophisticated forms of control because it hides behind the illusion of love. She studies your triggers, your fears, your need to protect. She knows exactly which button to press to make you fold. The tears, the trembling voice, the silence that punishes, it's all part of the performance. And because you're kind, because you want peace, you surrender. You stop saying no. You start apologizing for things you didn't do. What she's really doing is teaching you that her emotions are your responsibility, that your worth is measured by how well you can fix her mood. And once she conditions you to accept that burden, you lose the right to your own feelings. You exist to regulate hers. That isn't love. That's emotional servitude. A woman who truly loves you won't weaponize your empathy. She won't use her pain to control your behavior. She'll communicate, not manipulate. So remember this. Love that demands guilt isn't love. It's leverage. And the moment you start feeling guilty for protecting your peace, you're no longer in a relationship. You're in captivity. Love doesn't require submission. If her love needs you to feel guilty, it isn't love. Number 4. Boundary violation disguised as intimacy. She says it's because she loves you. That's why she checks your phone, your messages, your location. That's why she asks where you've been, who you've talked to, why you didn't answer fast enough. She'll call it transparency. She'll call it closeness. But what it really is, control dressed as affection. A woman who violates your privacy isn't looking for connection. She's looking for confirmation that she owns you. Every time she crosses a boundary and you let it slide, she learns that your autonomy is negotiable. What begins as curiosity turns into interrogation. What starts as, I just worry about you, becomes, I don't trust you. And soon, you'll find yourself explaining every move, every call, every minute, as if you're the one on trial. In healthy relationships, intimacy and individuality coexist. You can be deeply connected and still have private thoughts, personal space, and independence. But when someone equates love with constant access, that isn't intimacy. It's surveillance. You stop being a partner and start being property. This kind of behavior corrodes your sense of self. You begin to shrink, editing your actions to avoid accusations. You stop sharing the truth because honesty will only be used against you. And eventually, you lose the quiet confidence of being your own man. Love never demands surrender of identity. Love respects the walls that protect your peace. So remember, a woman who doesn't respect your boundaries doesn't love you. She wants to own you. And once ownership replaces respect, love doesn't live there anymore. Number 5. Physical or property aggression. It starts with something you can excuse. A slammed door, a broken glass, a shove during an argument. She cries afterward, says she just got overwhelmed, that it will never happen again. You want to believe her, because the alternative means admitting you're no longer safe. But make no mistake, aggression is not an accident. It's a message. It says, I will use fear to control you. Violence in any form, against you, your belongings, or your space, is the purest expression of dominance. It isn't passion. It isn't frustration. It's a power play. People don't lose control randomly. They choose when, where, and with whom to explode. She doesn't throw things at her boss. She doesn't shove her friends. She only does it to you because she knows you'll stay. And that's how it escalates. The first push becomes a grab. The grab becomes a slap, then a punch through the wall near your head. Every time you forgive, she learns the same lesson. Fear works. It keeps you quiet. It keeps you compliant. Until one day, it's not a wall. It's you. When love turns physical, it stops being love. There is no justification, no emotional context that redeems it. Real love protects. It never threatens. So if she's breaking things to make a point, understand what she's really saying. She's willing to destroy what's yours to remind you who has control. If she can break objects today, she'll break you tomorrow. Walk away before she does. Number 6, financial control and exploitation. Love doesn't justify imbalance, but in toxic relationships, money becomes the silent leash. It starts subtly. She forgets her wallet, borrows and never pays back, says you're better with money anyway. Then the narrative changes. Suddenly your income is our money, but hers is her freedom. She'll call it sharing. She'll call it teamwork. But it's not partnership if one person is carrying all the weight. Financial control isn't about bills or budgets. It's about power. The moment you become the only provider, or worse, the one being drained, the balance shifts. Every purchase turns into a test of loyalty. Every disagreement becomes a guilt trip about how ungrateful you are. After everything I do for you, you start second-guessing your own spending while she feels entitled to yours. That's not love. That's control disguised as dependence. And when she sabotages your career, discourages your ambition, or subtly mocks your goals, understand the strategy. The less you have, the less you can leave. Financial dependence keeps people trapped longer than fear ever could. Because when she holds the wallet, she holds your options, your ability to walk away, your independence, your dignity. Money isn't about greed. It's about freedom. It represents your time, your effort, your choices. Everything that makes you an individual. A woman who truly loves you won't want to own your freedom. She'll want to build alongside it. So don't mistake financial exploitation for intimacy. It's not romance, it's leverage. And when she controls it, she controls you. Number 7, isolation from friends and family. It never happens overnight. It begins with little comments. Your friends don't really get us. Your family doesn't like me. You're different when you're around them. At first, it sounds like insecurity. You reassure her, promise balance. But soon, every outing becomes a negotiation. Every visit feels like betrayal. Until one day, you realize you haven't seen your friends in months, and she's the only voice in your life that's left. Isolation is the most effective control tactic because it's invisible. No one can warn you when no one is allowed near you. She'll say she just wants more time together. She'll claim others are jealous, negative, or toxic. But what she's really doing is cutting you off from your reality check, the people who'd notice the manipulation before you do. Once you lose your outside connections, you lose perspective. You stop hearing the truth because the only feedback you get is hers. And when her voice becomes your entire world, her version of reality becomes law. That's how emotional captivity works, not with chains, but with silence. Healthy love connects you deeper to the world, not further from it. The right woman will want to meet your friends, know your family, and stand beside you in your community, not replace it with herself. When you find yourself explaining why you don't see anyone anymore, that's not love protecting you. That's control isolating you. And when she becomes your only world, you stop existing in your own. Number 8, infidelity and betrayal. Cheating isn't an accident. It's not something that just happened. It's a chain of deliberate decisions to cross a boundary, to deceive, to risk everything sacred between you for something temporary. It begins long before the act itself. With a text not deleted, a look held too long, a conversation that drifts where it shouldn't. And every step she knows what she's doing. She just believes she won't get caught. Or worse, that you'll forgive her if she is. Infidelity is not about passion. It's about entitlement. It's the belief that her desires matter more than your trust, that her impulses are worth the pain they cause. And when caught, the script is always the same. We were going through a rough patch. You weren't giving me what I needed. It didn't mean anything. But every excuse only reinforces the truth. She chose selfishness over respect. Forgiveness won't restore what was broken, because infidelity doesn't just destroy trust. It rewrites it. Once she's crossed that line, you'll never again believe her words the same way. Every text will carry suspicion. Every silence will echo. You'll live in a state of quiet vigilance, guarding yourself from someone who should have been guarding you. A woman who betrays you has already told you who she is. Someone willing to risk your dignity for her convenience. And the hardest part isn't losing her. It's realizing she was never who you thought she was. Cheating isn't a mistake. It's a message. Believe it. Number 9. Weaponizing your vulnerabilities. It always starts in moments of closeness. You open up because you trust her. You tell her about the things you've survived, the fears you hide, the insecurities you never share. You believe you're building intimacy. What you don't realize is that she's quietly taking notes. Then one day, in the heat of an argument, she fires the first shot. The very pain you confessed in confidence becomes her weapon. Your childhood trauma, your failures, the mistakes you told her because you thought love meant safety. Now they're ammunition, fired back at you with surgical precision to win an argument, to make you feel small, to break your defenses. This isn't passion. This isn't loss of control. This is strategy. It's psychological warfare disguised as vulnerability. Once she learns that exposing your wounds gets results, she'll do it again. Because nothing gives a manipulator more power than the ability to make you bleed with your own truth. The cost of this betrayal is deeper than anger. It's silence. You stop sharing. You stop trusting. You start guarding every thought, every emotion. The relationship may look alive, but it's emotionally dead, because intimacy cannot exist where safety has been violated. A woman who uses your pain against you doesn't understand it. She exploits it. Real love shelters your wounds. It never weaponizes them. So the next time someone turns your confessions into knives, don't make excuses for her cruelty. Once she uses your pain against you, she's no longer your partner. She's your enemy. Number 10. The abuse apology love bombing cycle. This one is the most dangerous because it feels like love. She hurts you with words, with contempt, with control, then rushes in to fix it. Tears, apologies, promises to change. Suddenly she's affectionate again, cooking your favorite meal, whispering how much she needs you. For a moment it feels like peace. You tell yourself it's over. You want to believe it's different this time. But it's not. It's just the calm between storms. This is how trauma bonding works. The human brain confuses relief with love. After pain, kindness feels euphoric. You start craving her affection not because it's good, but because it temporarily stops the bad. You become addicted to the highs she controls, and she knows it. That's why the cycle always restarts. The next outburst, the next insult, the next apology. Each round, shorter, sharper, crueler, until you can't tell where love ends and damage begins. This isn't love evolving. It's control tightening. She's not trying to heal the wound. She's keeping it open, just clean enough for you to stay. Because as long as you're waiting for the good version of her to return, you'll never leave. Healthy relationships don't require recovery periods. They don't need grand gestures to erase harm. They don't destroy you one day and adore you the next. So don't mistake the apology for transformation. Don't mistake affection for safety. She's not changing. She's resetting the trap. Forgiving the unforgivable doesn't make you noble. It makes you disappear. Every time you excuse a lie, a humiliation, a manipulation, a betrayal, you chip away at the man you used to be. You tell yourself it's compassion, understanding, maturity. But what it really is surrender, piece by piece, until there's nothing left to defend. The truth is, you can't love a woman into respecting you. You can't fix someone who finds power in your pain. You can't negotiate with someone who thrives on your forgiveness. Real love doesn't demand endless tolerance. It doesn't test how much you can endure before you break. Real love values your peace, not your suffering. If you stay with someone who crosses these lines, you don't just lose trust, you lose yourself. You become a shadow of the man you were, always apologizing, always explaining, always waiting for the next apology that will never mean anything. Your silence becomes complicity. Your endurance becomes permission. And eventually, she won't even need to ask for forgiveness because you'll already be giving it. But leaving? That's different. Leaving isn't failure. It's recognition. It's choosing yourself over chaos, self-respect over illusion. It's reclaiming the time and energy you've been giving to someone who never deserved it. And once you walk away, something powerful happens. You remember who you were before you started shrinking to fit someone else's comfort. So, if this message woke something up in you, don't stay silent. Comment below and tell your story, not to shame anyone, but to help another man recognize himself before it's too late. Share this with someone who's forgetting his worth, and subscribe, because this space isn't about hate or bitterness. It's where men remember who they are. You don't need to forgive the unforgivable. You need to free yourself from it.